You inspire me to great work. It's like working with Steven Spielberg here.
The transfer window is almost upon us, and we've put a few questions to the rest of the Onefootball gang here. So which team needs to splash the cash, which player needs to move on, and who has been the signing of the season so far? That's what we're here to find out, but of course you guys can let us know your answers to the questions in the comments section below. I actually think Spurs are. I think after a summer of signing absolutely nobody, they're under a bit of pressure, even if they can't find the right guy, to sign at least somebody.
Well, it should be Arsenal. They are lacking depth up front and at the back, and after the spate of recent injuries, they really need to buy somebody in January.
United should splash it, but I don't think they will do it with a new manager in, who's not sure if he's going to stay. So I'm going with Bayern Munich.
They don't need to splash the cash, but they will. I think it's Tottenham. Just because they didn't sign anyone in summer. If they want to proceed in the Champions League, I think they have to get some player in, just because the rotation, the squad is not deep enough for now to go further in the Champions League than maybe quarterfinals, maybe semis.
Who needs to be sold? I think from a club perspective, Alexis Sanchez is just costing them a crazy amount of money at Manchester United. Not that it's coming out of my wallet, but I think over in Spain, Karim Benzema needs to leave. He's just not providing Real Madrid with enough firepower up front, and he may free up a bit of cash and certainly a space for a new signing.
I have two players on my list. First, Mesut Özil. I don't know, I think he's not really feeling it with Emery, and he is playing a different style than his coach, so perhaps he's leaving Arsenal, I'm not sure. And also Alexis Sanchez. He never got a real chance with Mourinho, so I don't know, because they have a new coach now, perhaps it will change and they keep him, but he could be a candidate to leave also.
I'd say it's time for Morata to move on.
Well, Alvaro Morata is the striking equivalent of the durian fruit. He's stinking up the place at Stamford Bridge. He needs to go.
Paul Pogba.
Well, I think it's definitely going to be some Bayern player, some midfield players. I think the midfield of Bayern is so loaded that there's not going to be enough playtime for everyone, and that's going to cause some trouble there. Also maybe one of Hummels or Boateng. Some of those two, I don't know who, but yeah.
Well, this is going to be a bit of a long shot, but I think it might actually be Isco. He's clearly not happy at Real Madrid. Real Madrid are not happy with him. Pep Guardiola would be very happy with him at Manchester City. There's also talk of him being involved with Stamford Bridge and Chelsea.
I actually think Christian Pulisic will be the biggest signing. He hasn't been doing too well in recent weeks, however the potential's there, and if someone can come in and get him for about 50 million, and the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool, even Bayern Munich, I think they'll take the chance.
I have again two names. First, Isco. I think he's really keen to leave Real, but I'm not sure. Apparently it's not happening that he's going to Manchester City, so perhaps Chelsea. And in the German Bundesliga we talk also a lot of Pulisic, that he could leave Dortmund in the winter transfer window and also could go to Chelsea. But Michael Zorc, the sports director of Dortmund, said already they won't let him leave. So perhaps he stays until summer and then they make some cash with him.
Oh, sorry. Real Madrid's going to come round to Chelsea and then splash some cash on Hazard.
Biggest signing? Callum Wilson to Chelsea.
Well, I feel like Frankie de Jong might be on the move from Ajax, and then he would be that signing. And then probably, I'd say Barca. But there's also a chance that Rabiot is already getting sold in the winter break. Since they want to make cash, he would go to Barca too. So it's either Rabiot or de Jong, but it's definitely Barca.
Probably De Ligt from Ajax. I mean, there's massive buzz about him. He's still just a kid. Some big clubs in for him like Barcelona, Tottenham. I think Ajax are a team who would consider selling in the winter as opposed to many other clubs. And I think there's a few clubs who are in this line for him, so they'll be wanting to steal a march on some rivals.
Shaqiri, because he's turning out to be a super sub now. He's scoring in the big games and he's a constant performer.
I'd say Xherdan Shaqiri. He was a real bargain for Liverpool. I think he was only 14 million euros or something. And he made such a good appearance as a joker. And yeah, I just love him and I wish him the best for the rest of the season.
Signing of the season, as much as it pains me to say as a Spurs fan, has been Lucas Torreira in Arsenal's midfield. I think to go to Sampdoria and pick up a player for 20 odd million isn't a blockbuster signing, but he's definitely proven his worth and more.
I'm going to go to Dortmund and the Bundesliga for that one, and Axel Witsel. He's brought much needed experience to the team. He's led them to the top of the Bundesliga, and he costs just 18 million. You probably can't even get a cup of coffee for that these days.
I go with Paco Alcacer at Dortmund. I mean, if you can buy a player for 24 million that's scoring like 30 goals in the Bundesliga, that's a bargain.
Ian said Witsel before, didn't he? It's super obvious, but Ronaldo, I mean, you can look at the way that it's transformed an already fantastic club into one that's really going to have a great season. The difference between, Juventus and the rest of the league already was big. Now there's just an even further gulf, and I think what he brings to Serie A in general is great, but what he brings to Juventus in particular is huge.
In terms of super big signing, I think it's going to be Lucas Torreira. But I think it's going to be Marko Grujic from Liverpool. I know it's only on a loan, but Grujic has made a big impact at Hertha, one of the best midfielders in the last 20 years, as Paldada said. So he's my signing of the window.
Wait a second. All right.
Is my hair right?
Can't believe I'm doing this.
Well, should I look at him?
Yeah.
Right into Matt's eyes.
Can we start again? Sorry. Okay. Yeah, okay.